10 fascinating facts about the Praetorian Guard, Rome's imperial protectors. In the annals of Roman history, few military units loom as large or as controversially as the Praetorian Guard. Often depicted in popular culture as the emperor's personal bodyguards and ruthless kingmakers, their story is far more complex than simple caricature suggests. From their origins as a humble republican escort to their eventual transformation into a powerful and feared political force, the Praetorians were a unique and integral part of the Roman Empire for nearly 300 years. Their history is one of paradox. They were the most elite soldiers in the world, yet they rarely saw battle. They were sworn to protect the emperor, yet they were responsible for the murder of many. They were a symbol of imperial power, yet they were often the very force that destabilized the state. Their influence, both military and political, shaped the course of Roman governance, leaving an indelible mark on the rise and fall of dynasties. This article will explore 10 fascinating and often surprising facts about the Praetorian Guard, delving into their unique privileges, their tumultuous role in Roman politics, and their dramatic end. 1. A guard of the people, not the emperor, the republican origins. The Praetorian Guard didn't begin as a permanent elite force dedicated to the emperor. Its origins are far more modest, dating back to the Roman Republic. The term Praetorian comes from praetorium, the name for a Roman general's headquarters or tent in a military camp. The Praetorian cohort was simply a general's personal escort, a small group of elite soldiers tasked with protecting their commander on campaign. These detachments were temporary and were disbanded at the end of a campaign. It was not until the rise of Octavian, later Augustus, that the idea of a permanent, unified Praetorian Guard was conceived. This transition from a temporary republican unit to the emperor's permanent elite protection marked a significant shift in Roman military organization and set the stage for the Guard's future power. 2. The emperor's suburban army, stationed on the outskirts of Rome. For the first few decades of its existence under Augustus, the Praetorian Guard was not stationed directly within the city of Rome. Augustus was a master politician who understood the delicate balance of power and public perception. He knew that stationing a standing army inside the city walls would be deeply unpopular and a clear violation of Roman tradition, which largely forbade military forces from being garrisoned in the capital. Instead, he strategically distributed the 9 Praetorian cohorts in small detachments in towns surrounding Rome. It was the ambitious and shrewd Praetorian Prefect Sejanus, under Emperor Tiberius, who eventually consolidated the Guard into a single, massive, fortified camp on the outskirts of the city. This move, which created the Castra Praetoria, gave the Praetorians a collective identity and a centralized power base, making them a formidable and visible force in Roman politics. 3. The most privileged soldiers in the Roman army, pay and perks. To attract the best and brightest soldiers from Italy, the Praetorian Guard was granted extraordinary privileges that set them apart from the regular legions. Their pay was significantly higher, often 3 times that of a regular legionary. They served a shorter term of duty, 16 years compared to the 20 or more years of a legionary, and they received a much larger discharge bonus upon retirement. These lucrative terms made joining the Praetorians a highly sought-after honor. Furthermore, their duties were far less strenuous. While legions were constantly on the move, building roads and engaging in frontier skirmishes, the Praetorians' primary job was ceremonial guard duty in the city. These incredible perks which became the envy of the entire army, created a sense of entitlement and superiority that would fuel their political meddling and influence for centuries to come. 4. The Praetorian Prefect, a power behind the throne. The most influential figure in the Praetorian Guard was not the emperor, but the Praetorian Prefect. This was the commander of the entire guard, and their position evolved from a simple military office to one of the most powerful administrative roles in the empire. Prefects held immense power, commanding the only standing army in Rome and acting as the emperor's chief of staff, head of the secret police, and even supreme judge. Ambitious prefects like Sejanus used their position to manipulate emperors and consolidate power for themselves. They effectively controlled access to the emperor and had the ability to influence promotions and policy. The Praetorian Prefect became a true kingmaker, and their loyalty was often the deciding factor in the survival of an emperor. The history of the Praetorian Guard is in many ways the history of its most powerful prefects. 5. Kingmakers and emperor killers, their political role. The Praetorians' power was not just theoretical. They actively participated in the political theater of Rome, often with deadly consequences. While sworn to protect the emperor, they were often the first to turn against them in times of political turmoil. Their most famous act of king-making occurred in 41 AD, when they assassinated Emperor Caligula. The guard then discovered his uncle Claudius hiding behind a curtain and, instead of killing him, declared him emperor, believing they could control the timid scholar. This event cemented their reputation as a force to be reckoned with. Their political meddling continued, and they would go on to assassinate or depose several other emperors, selling the throne to the highest bidder in the chaos of succession crises. This cycle of loyalty and betrayal became a defining characteristic of their legacy. 6. The Year of the Four Emperors, the Praetorian Auction. The year 69 AD, known as the Year of the Four Emperors, is a prime example of the Praetorians' destructive power. Following the suicide of Emperor Nero, the Praetorian Guard took it upon themselves to decide the fate of the empire. They first supported Galba, a general from Spain, but soon grew restless with his strict reforms and assassinated him. They then proclaimed Otho emperor, who had bribed them with promises of lavish gifts. When Otho's claim was challenged by the legions in Germany, the Praetorians were loyal to Otho until his defeat and suicide. This period of political chaos demonstrated how the Guard's loyalty could be bought, and how their influence was not tied to the greater good of the empire, but to their own self-interest and financial gain. This was a moment when they were at the zenith of their political influence, a time when the throne was literally a commodity for sale. 7. A gilded cage, their unique uniform and armament. While the Praetorians were a military force, their day-to-day uniforms and equipment were distinct from the legions. In Rome, they were famously seen wearing their tunics and togas, blending in with the civilian populace and signaling that their presence was not a military occupation. When on duty in the Castra Praetoria, or guarding the emperor, they wore a uniform of extraordinary quality. Their armor was often highly decorated, and they carried a variety of weapons, including a gladius, a long thrusting spear called a hasta, and a large oval shield. The finest examples of their armor were not just functional, but works of art, reflecting their status as the elite of the empire. This unique blend of civilian and military dress and their superior equipment highlighted their dual role as both the emperor's protectors and a visible symbol of imperial power. 8. The vigilantes of Rome, not just bodyguards. The Praetorians' duties extended far beyond simply guarding the emperor. They also served as a sort of internal security and firefighting force for the city. Emperor Nero famously assigned them to help combat the Great Fire of Rome in 64 AD. Their disciplined nature and military organization made them invaluable in such a crisis. They were also used as a sort of secret police, carrying out the emperor's will and conducting covert operations. However, this dual role also meant they were involved in internal espionage, monitoring dissent, and persecuting those who were deemed enemies of the state. This made them both feared and respected by the Roman populace. They were the emperor's eyes and ears in the capital, a vital part of the Roman government's control apparatus. 9. The fall of the Guard, disbanded by a new emperor. The Praetorian Guard's long and tumultuous history came to a definitive end in 312 AD. The Emperor Maxentius, who relied on the Guard for his power, was defeated by his rival, Constantine the Great, at the Battle of the Milvian Bridge. Following his victory, Constantine marched into Rome and swiftly moved to neutralize the Praetorian threat. He disbanded the entire Guard, stripped them of their privileges, and had their barracks, the Castra Praetoria, torn down. He scattered the remaining soldiers to the far-flung corners of the empire, ensuring they would never again wield political influence in the capital. This decisive act marked the end of an institution that had controlled the political fate of Rome for centuries. Constantine's victory was not just a military one. It was a political statement that he, and he alone, would be the sole arbiter of power in the empire. 10. A lasting legacy, a name used in modern context. The name Praetorian Guard has endured through history, entering our modern lexicon as a term for a powerful, elite, and often politically influential bodyguard or security force. It is used to describe an inner circle of loyalists who wield disproportionate power within a government, corporation, or organization. This enduring legacy is a testament to the Praetorians' outsized role in Roman history. Their story serves as a historical case study on the dangers of concentrating military power in the hands of a small, privileged group, and the delicate balance between a protector and a kingmaker. The Praetorian Guard's name will forever be synonymous with this dual nature of loyalty and betrayal, power and corruption.